All right, welcome to our Cutting Edge Seminar. From Make a Stick. I'm Trevor Morris, for those of you who don't know me. I know most of you here now. Hopefully. You probably know Ursula Sorensen, Associate Director of the Boundary Center. It's the last cutting edge of the semester, so hopefully it's useful. While she's putting the PowerPoint, I'm going to do a demonstration for my part. I'm going to have you guys get in groups of 2 or 3. This is just a demonstration.
Did you want me to do the tapping?
Sure. We're going to do demonstration. What we're going to do this demonstration, to begin with, before we talk about sticky ideas, part of the problem when we teach is the communication part. Trying to get information across to students can be very difficult. So, we're going to begin with the demonstration, and then Ursula, we'll in a second.
Okay.
I have you guys do some pairs so you guys can understand what it feels like, what the demonstration is like. Or if you want to get groups of 2 or 3, it doesn't really matter. On this little slip, one person is a tapper. You know this is going on here.
Yeah.
One person or 2 people, I don't care, it's a demonstration, it's not a controlled experiment. What they are going to do, and hopefully we try to get well-known songs. Because the listener, they are going to try to guess it. Okay? We've got 4 songs. I'll give you a minute or 2 to try this. Try tapping a couple of different songs.
Did you want me to do one?
Sure. And then, yeah, go ahead.
Do I give the category?
No, you can't go right. Just tap.
Okay.
So this example, what? Ursula is the tapper, and I'm the listener. What I'm trying to do is she will tap it, the rhythm of it.
You ready?
I'm ready. God bless America.
Good job!
Anyway,
You
but the
are
really interesting thing about this
Trevor.
demonstration is the tapper, when you do this, the tapper, there's 4 songs on this list. The tapper should estimate how many songs you think the listeners will get, or listener if you're in pair. Okay? So you pass these out. If you do at the table, that's fine.
I'll just observe these 2.
These observe these 2?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know who's who, so I can just show everyone. So I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes to do this little demonstration.
Who's going to be the tapper?
I know. That's why I just try your best. We'll talk about the experiment in a minute. So, don't quite have
I
pairs
probably
over here.
don't know these songs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I do. You probably
So,
do.
let me get tapper also. Right?
You're supposed to let the listeners know what they are.
No. Well, after they do it, you must know what it is. Okay, I'll put one over here in case someone comes.
I mean, if you both know what they are, then it's not a welcome.
You don't, I know. That's kind of the problem, but if you know any of the songs, you can try it.
That's in there. Just make sure it's always processed.
So should I tap them? Does that ring a bell at all? Should I try this?
Okay, let's bring this back together.
All right, everyone.
So how did it go? I should ask, how many people actually guessed it correctly?
What?
She got one? Anybody else get any correct? Elaine did.
He got one.
You got one? Jeff got one?
Oh yeah, after the third try.
The interesting about this experiment is they would ask the participants to estimate how many songs they thought the listener would get right. The tappers thought the listeners would get 50% right. Not even close. The listeners only got it right 2.5% of the time. So what happened is the tappers, this experiment that did this at Stanford, the tappers, when they did this, they started to, why were they having such a hard time getting this? And in fact, what we did is engage what was called fundamental attribution error. Started saying, well, the reason why students don't get this is because they're stupid. They're dumb. What's wrong with them? Everybody should know this, right? So this is actually a great example. Sometimes when we teach, we actually do this too. I think sometimes we might make internal attributions about our students, which might or might not be true, saying, oh, this person can't cut it here because it's not smart enough or something. What? Not yet. Almost. Then, another point I want to make out is what we call the curse of knowledge. Okay, professors are experts in their area. To us, whatever your topic is very simple. You actually get a lot of questions of text. Students come up to you and have like, oh, this question is so difficult, it's very tricky. You look at it and like, this is so easy. Like, I don't understand why I'm having a hard time with it. That might be because we have the curse of knowledge, because to us that's pretty easy. Could be. The curse of knowledge is when you have somebody who's an expert, and they have to get kind of like almost like a communication issue. You have to be able to get across to someone else. So when we're very good at something, it's very hard for us sometimes to explain to somebody who is a novice about a topic. Okay, go ahead. And Ursula is going to take over from here.
Well, we want to show the example.
Got it.
Okay, ready, set, go.
So hold on, Big Bang Theory.
Box. Window.
Batman. Batman and Robin. Wonder Twins plus the monkey. Wonder Twins plus the monkey and Batman.
Gift, present.
Leonard, now how can you not get that?
In what universe is that a present?
It's not a present, it's the present. Look, there's you and me, there's Penny and Amy. We're playing Pictionary in the present.
Oh my God, we're gonna kill them.
It's a quark gluon plasma.
No.
It's asymptotically free partons inside a quark gluon plasma.
Nothing but corks.
It's an observational rebuttal of the lambda CDM model of the universe.
No.
It's a chocolate chip cookie!
How could you miss that?
Hey, if you want someone to guess chocolate chip cookie, you draw a glass of milk next to it.
Have you got it?
Yeah, only after I eliminate all the obvious answers. You're welcome.
Sausage. Bratwurst. Hot dog.
Penny, aren't you gonna draw something? Relax, we got time. This is so fun.
There. A solar system. Unidentified flying liverwurst?
Now? Soon.
Come on, Leonard. I am spoon-feeding this to you.
Casper the alcoholic ghost?
All right, that's enough.
Hand, nail, polish? No! The word is Polish. See, Polish sausage. And the model of the solar system developed by Nicholas Copernicus, a Polish astronomer. Finally, that wasn't enough, which it should have been. This is Madame Curie killing herself by discovering radium, who, although she was a naturalized French citizen, was Polish by birth.
Excuse me, the word is polish. See? Small p.
Ah. So it is. I guess we both share blame on this one.
Okay. So, now we're going to go, so remember the curse of knowledge, because this is going to lead to some...
Curse of knowledge is what stops ideas from sticking. So go ahead.
Yes, so it's going to lead to some of these strategies. So we're going to call it the strategies of success. So we're going to have you work on a lesson plan soon. And this was from the Made to Stick. Who else read this book before? A few of you, so you're aware of the model of success. So we're going to go through this and we'll detail the different steps, and then we're going to have you work on your lesson plan with these models, this model. All right, so the first one is simple. So simple is opposite of complex, right? So we want to identify the core objectives of our lesson. Okay, so what's our core? And so we might want to go to our course objectives and see, and relate those course objectives to our lesson objectives. Is a good thing. To identify some of the core objectives, we can use a concept map. Has anyone used concept maps before? And so that's a great way to identify, which are the main focus of our lesson. So we can do that. But there are lots of people use these simple ideas to drive home a point so that it's more memorable. Famous slogans, they do this all the time. So I was just going to show you an example of some of these. Y'all will really remember it now from the loudness. Okay, so what do I do with the core? I want to go back to the slideshow. So you're going to simplify it in 6 words. So you see those slogans, it's finger looking good, I'm loving it. They don't use this long message to drive home their point. Okay, what's Nike's message? Just do it. Okay. Do y'all know Gatorade's message? The thirst quencher. So you use your simple. So you're going to come to your core objectives, and you're going to sum it up in 6 words. So very simple. And you want to explain the concepts in simple terms so that your students understand it. I mean, we've been teaching for many years. So what we think is simple, okay, like Sheldon Cooper, is actually complex to our students. So we need to, maybe be aware of the jargon we might use or things like this and simplify it. And we want to also try and connect it to what they already know. So from their prior knowledge, drive home, build on that prior knowledge, okay? So with astronomy or the seasons, say the seasons, people are aware of those. There's some misconceptions of the seasons. you want to break those misconceptions, so you want to, tackle that. So can someone think of an example when you've done this with some analogy that they've already known? Yes.
When we're talking about film editing, there's a concept called structural editing, and it's basically, as I explained it, I'm giving the film structure by putting shots together to make scenes, to make sequences, to make a completed film. And I draw the analogy to sentence composition.
Oh, right.
You know, you're putting words together in a certain order to make a certain kind of meaning, kind of thing. And so I use that, and I say you start with, sentences, and then into paragraphs, and then into your theme paper, and that seems to work if they take it into composition.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Great analogy. Okay. So that's simple. Okay, next one is unexpected. So you want to get their interest, okay, right at the start. So you want to get their attention. And so we won't worry about the Ellen clip. So you want to capture their attention by doing something unexpected. Has anyone seen this done in any classroom that you've been into, or have you done it in your classroom, like done something unexpected? Yes.
Today we were talking about valuing and celebrating differences in order to get to synergy. And so I just held up 4 signs with 4 different types of birds. And I asked them, think about what the characteristics are of these birds, and could you relate to any of them? If you were a bird, would you be an owl, a dove, peacock, or an eagle? And then one of the students comes and grabs the sign, and they go to a place in the room, and they gather there, and they talk about the concepts for a minute, and then they list them on the board. So the characteristics of a dove, of an owl, whatever.
Right.
And then as they sit down, I say, what kind of a world would it be if we were all doves, or we were all peacocks, or we were all owls, or whatever? And is our world richer and more interesting because we're different? So it's, anyway.
Very good. Yes.
I have one for the previous one and this
For
one.
simple and the unexpected.
Yeah, we use a common concept to explain a complicated situation. I remember there was a plane crash into the ocean, and then they found some of the wreckage, and then the wires are in a mess. So the reporter pointed out the picture and said, this is like a spaghetti spaghetti
Bowl
ball.
spaghetti.
Yeah, spaghetti
Yeah.
ball.
Mhm.
To see the wreckage with miles and miles of wires. So
Right.
that's you use a common concept to explain an unusual concept.
Yes, good.
So this one, a surprise thing, it reminds me of an American author, O. Henry. Probably some of you know and he is famous for his short stories, surprising endings. Surprising ending. One is a young couple. They are very much in love, and the girl has very long hair, beautiful. Yeah.
Oh.
So do I need to tell you?
You do
Yeah, I
need to
know,
tell.
you know
I want
me.
to
Tell the story.
Okay, I'll tell you the story. A young couple, they are newly wed, and they are very much in love. And for 1 year, they are poor. And for 1 year, the young man wants to give his wife a gift. And his wife has the most beautiful long hair. And they saw a set of combs, handmade wood combs in the window. And he wanted to buy the combs for the wife for Christmas. And he has a gold watch he inherited from his father. But the watch, the chain, the band is missing. So the young wife wanted to buy the chain for the gold watch. And then on Christmas, well, the young girl, she didn't have money. She saved every dollar for the year, but it was not enough to buy the chain. And so she sold her hair to buy the watch chain. And he didn't have enough money to buy the combs. He sold his watch. He sold his watch to buy the combs. So they came home on Christmas Eve. And that was a surprise.
That
And he
was a
looked at his
surprise.
wife
That's great.
with long hair. He has the combs.
Good.
And she looked at him, she said, I bought you the band for your gold watch. And he sold his watch.
This is,
So that's one
I guess
example.
this is a perfect example for the game theory. What type of game theory? If someone teach economics, you can use this as an example to show coordination game.
Right.
So the two players need to coordinate their actions to reach ideal result.
Right.
And actually, I have another example. I observed a senior faculty teaching globalization class, and this is the first class in the whole semester. And he entered into classroom without talking anything about globalization, but just call some name, student's name. But they never meet each other before. He called the name by first name and say whether you have an internship in the international organization, or whether you have visit some place, have an international travel to another place. The students got shocked, and they are surprised why the faculty knows about their activity during the summer. And then the faculty continue to explain how he got the information from their Facebook page. So by doing that, he showed that how globalization might influence our daily life and influence how other people know about us. So anything you post online, you'll get known by other.
Excellent. Jeff, one more comment?
Well, it's interesting. I see the point that you could make with that story, but I even saw a different point in that, is that they both gave a gift that was precious in value,
Right.
but it expressed a higher commitment of love. And so even the fact that her hair was gone and the combs couldn't go be used, wow,
Yeah.
what a powerful message.
Good. And so you've actually addressed the one S, the last of our S's, but we will get to that in a minute. So you not only want to do something new, something unexpected, something that gets their attention, you also need to hold their attention. Is a important thing. So how to hold their attention. So some ways you can do this is, do activities throughout the 50 minutes. So a lot of times we can only hold their attention no more than like 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, so you want to, sporadically do different things. Have them get up and moving, things like that. Okay? All right. And then also make sure to keep on looking at that core idea, that simple idea, that it's relevant to the unexpected. Okay, concrete. So how do you make those ideas memorable? And so you utilize examples, which we've talked about, analogies. Okay? Help students apply and imagine. You use sensory experiences. Maybe you have a mnemonic, or does anyone use mnemonics in their classes? Oh, okay, great. What's one of your mnemonics?
Well, I was just talking about it. I think J.P. Scott, the name of the famous editor who does not exist. Okay. So it's juxtaposition, pace, structural editing, continuity editing, outside in, inside out, transitional tools, and time manipulation. And yeah,
Right.
unfortunately, dirty words work better.
That's right, that's true. Yeah.
Try to come up with something that sticks in their head.
Oh, great. Alexandra?
You
Yeah.
remember the girls can flirt and other weird things can do.
Oh,
The mnemonic for the Morse scale of partners and appearance.
let's see, there you go. Anyone else have any mnemonics? Yes.
Use an acronym PI to remember the 4 kinds of autobiographical responses that people give: advising, interpreting, probing, evaluating. I said it in one order, but
Today we are talking about the NGOs, the role of the NGOs in international relations.
Right.
I asked my students to imagine what if they have an idea that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
What will they do to give them a direct sense about how the NGOs will make different activities to influence relevance for international.
I do and then you can also do, some sensory experiences such as where you have them doing kinesthetic, hearing, visual, tasting. So I do like a mindful eating when we talk about stress management, mindfulness. So we do a mindful eating experience. So that gives some concrete. And I'm not good at elements on it. All right. Okay, so credible, make them a believer, creative epidemiology. Has anyone heard of creative epidemiology before? So that's using statistics to drive home a point. So I'll believe it when I see it. So here's an example of my creative epidemiology. Each year in the U.S., tobacco kills 443,000. If I were to just say that, people really, okay, so 443,000. What is that? And then we have 443,000 equals 2 jumbo jets crashing every day for an entire year. If you were to hear that happening, okay, a lot of people wouldn't be flying probably. Okay, so it's just driving home a very important point, to make an important point. Does anyone use any statistics like that or some credibility, things like that in their classes? I'm sure you do. Give me an example. Doesn't have to be this, so it's just some credible source. Must be Friday. Or how do you show that you're credible? Because that you're an expert in the field.
I'm not sure whether my example is relevant here. Today we are talking about the communist regime. How the communist regime may get in control and develop their economy. And then we talk about Cuba. And actually, I mentioned, Cuba has a very, very high level of public health. And we have a clicker question and make students guess the lifespan of the average people in Cuba. Actually, they make mistakes. They think that probably the people there live a very short life, but actually it is the opposite. People there have almost 70, 78 lifespan.
And so, yeah, so you're driving home that point with those statistics there. But first you're seeing what they think about it. So that's great. Anyone else have an example? Yes.
One of the DVDs that I show in STEM Habits is the one on malicious, and it gives all of these demographics at the beginning of the limited resources and how many different people there are, whatever. And so the expectation is that they would have very high unemployment, that there would be a lot of chaos and whatever, but as the DVD unfolds, it shows them that the opposite is true. Very high level of employment and very effective use of resources and a great deal of harmony and those kinds of things. So I think sometimes truths are made apparent by their opposites. So I think sometimes by them having a certain expectation and then showing them something that can counter that, I think can be very powerful.
In the New York Times, you can find several articles related to what you're going over, or you can have the students find them and bring them in. And so that adds some credibility to what you're teaching because it's backing up what you're teaching. So. All right. So emotional. So you want to pull at their heartstrings. I don't know if anyone's heard of Derek Redmond before or seen this before. I'll just show a little bit of it. Watching advertisements. Has anyone heard of Derek Redmond? He was
nominated for 6 MTV Movie Awards, including Best Female Performance, Best Male Performance, Best Guest, and Best Movie of the Year.
Now it's going to be over. Has anyone seen this before? It's on Facebook. So he was supposed to capture gold here. I can't remember if he was in more than one event. I think it was 3 events or something. It might have said this story. can send y'all that if you want the link. So does anyone do anything emotional in their classroom? Oh, you're fine.
I try not to, but it happens.
Yes.
I teach nursing. And
Yes.
We do all the time. We teach death and dying.
Oh, yes.
There's
Oh,
so much. And
geez.
I teach this one lesson on cancer, and I'm trying to teach them how cancer affects the whole family.
Right.
It's not just
Oh,
the
yeah.
patient. So I say, I'm going to read you a journal entry of a girl whose sister had cancer. And I read this one. It's absolutely incredible. And I get up to her and she's begging, please, please, take from me, take everything, my kidneys, my heart, my lungs, I don't care, anything to help her live. And then at the end of the class, I told her that was me and my so sad. And so everyone's just crying. And then last time I taught, it was one girl raised her hand and she said, I have no idea my sister. And she was just bawling. But it really does, they'll never forget. It's very emotional. Very
Yeah.
touching.
Any other? Yes.
Well, similarly, what happens is unexpectedly in the middle of a lecture,
Yes.
I'll be talking about Italian neorealism. And suddenly I can't talk. And they start, wow, what's wrong? Because I'm trying to convey to them the hell these people went through. You know, they were trying to make these films exposing the Nazis. It just gets emotional. But it takes a while before they feel what's wrong with them. It's getting emotional. But they remember it.
Oh, yes, they remember it. And it's good to put that emotion into your classroom, definitely, because they do, they remember it. So, anyone else want to share before we move on? So that brings us to stories. Cameron, did you have anything? Yes.
I'll just tell a quick one. We've been talking about listening with empathy. And I saw a former student as I was going through the cafeteria, and she started asking me about my husband losing, a couple of years ago. And I was trying to keep it short and emotional or whatever. And she had introduced me to a friend that I'd never seen before, and I kind of had my side to this friend. Well, suddenly I look over and this friend is just standing there with tears streaming down her face. Didn't say a single word. And yet the empathy that came from her was tremendous. And because we were right in the middle of this, talking about this, the next day I recounted this to my student. And I said, sometimes we don't have to say a thing to be empathic, to really listen to people and to feel what they're feeling. And it was just very dramatic. I've never seen this one before. And I thanked her for her empathy. She said, well, I'm just a social crier or something. But no, she wasn't. She knew how to listen and she knew how to feel. And so it was powerful. Students got it.
What classes do you teach?
Heavy 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is the one that I've been reading and stuff about. And I teach power reading and learning strategies.
Yes, yeah.
I teach effective business presentations, and the students, if they'll start with a personal experience, and they're there for many times emotional, it can be tragedy, whatever, it draws your audience in, or their attention is there, and it makes them much more powerful with their whatever they say. It has a lot more credibility. The experience can be very, very moving, very deep.
So this brings us to our last S, stories. So stories, and we've been talking about stories throughout this presentation. It gets them to act, they inspire, and they simulate. So you can do simulations like nursing, where they use case studies, or business uses lots of disciplines use case studies. And then you give them that case study and see how the students are going to act if they were in that situation. Or getting them to act by a story, telling them about cancer, giving them, or DUI. DUI is, I've got a really powerful story of a girl that was killed by a drunk driver, and it's like a poem to the mom, and it says, I listened to you, Mom, you told me not to drink, and it goes through this, and now I'm laying on the curb, dying, and it's very, oh goodness, very powerful. So there's several, lots of stories that you can bring them and you get them emotional, you get their attention. So you're doing something unexpected. So you're bringing in those elements along with the story. All right, so get your lesson plans out. In the last 15 minutes, I'm going to have y'all work on your lesson plan and make them sticky. So we have the model of success here. And hopefully you brought your lesson plan. And you will look at it, and I want you to come up with elements of each of the simple, unexpected, concrete, credible, emotional, and story. And if you didn't bring one, maybe to share with the partner, you can help your partner. Pair up if you like and bring a lesson plan.